My precious chosen one, today is not an ordinary day. Today, on April 6th, something has shifted in the spiritual realm, and this message is not for everyone. It is not random. It is not coincidence. It is not general. Archangel Michael is saying, this is only for you. And what is coming in the next 7 minutes will shock your soul. But before I reveal it, you must promise something in your heart. You will not treat this lightly. You will not mock it. And you will not share it carelessly with those who would not understand. Because this is sacred. There are thousands listening, but this word is locked onto one frequency, yours. You have been feeling something unusual since you woke up today. A strange heaviness mixed with expectation. A quiet tension in the air, like something unseen is about to unfold. That is not your imagination. That is spiritual pressure. And Archangel Michael stands at the edge of your atmosphere right now, sword raised, not in anger, but in protection. Listen carefully. There has been a hidden countdown around your life. Not a countdown of destruction, but a countdown of revelation. For months, something has been forming behind the scenes. Conversations you were not part of. Decisions made in rooms you never entered. Movements happening in silence. And heaven has allowed it. Why? Because what is about to be revealed could only be exposed at the appointed time. April 6th marks a spiritual turning point. The delay you thought was rejection was actually divine concealment. The closed doors were not punishments, they were shields. Archangel Michael has been intercepting attacks you never saw. Words spoken against you never reached their destination. Plans designed to trap you were quietly dismantled. And here is the shocking truth: someone close to your environment has been wearing a mask. Not openly hostile. Not obviously against you. In fact, they smiled. They encouraged. They appeared supportive. But in the spirit, their intentions were divided. You felt it. That subtle discomfort. That inner warning you tried to ignore. Today, Archangel Michael confirms your discernment was correct. But wait, this is not about fear. This is about exposure and elevation. Because the revelation is not meant to break you. It is meant to free you. For 7 minutes, symbolically and spiritually, heaven is aligning something powerful. The number 7 represents completion. What felt incomplete in your life is about to close its cycle. The confusion, the emotional drain, the silent battles you fought alone at night. Completion is here. But there is a condition. You must promise not to scatter this word. Not everyone is ready for the level you are stepping into. When Archangel Michael says, this is only for you, it means your assignment is unique. If you share it with those who mock divine timing, you dilute its power in your own heart. Protect what is being planted inside you today, because something is coming fast. In the next 7 days, watch carefully. A message. A call. I said it, confession. Something will surface that confirms everything you sensed but could not prove. Do not react emotionally. Do not explode. Stay still. Archangel Michael will handle the exposure. Your job is to remain aligned. There is also a second layer to this shock. You have been underestimating your own spiritual authority. The battles you survived should have destroyed you. The betrayal should have hardened you. The delay should have broken your faith. Yet here you are, still standing, still hoping, still believing. That is not weakness. That is divine endorsement. Archangel Michael is not only exposing what was hidden around you, he is awakening what has been hidden within you. a boldness, a clarity, a fearless calm. And here is the part that may truly shock your soul. The very person who underestimated you will soon witness your elevation. Not because you fought back, not because you proved anything, but because heaven decided it was time. April 6th is a spiritual stamp. Something you prayed about in secret has been approved. The delay is ending. The silence is breaking. And the protection around you is tightening. Right now, as you listen, there is a spiritual separation happening. Energies that drained you are losing access. Invisible cords are being cut. Confusion is lifting. You may even feel lighter after this message ends. But remember the promise. Do not treat this casually. This message was not meant to entertain you. It was meant to prepare you. What happens next will feel sudden, but it has been orchestrated for a long time. Archangel Michael stands watch. Not behind you, not far from you, but over you. And in the next moments, something deeper will be revealed. Something even more personal than you expect. Are you ready to hear it? Beloved warrior of light, what I am about to unfold now goes even deeper than exposure. It moves into acceleration. Because when Archangel Michael declares that something is only for you, it means heaven has identified you as ready. Not perfect, not flawless, but ready. There has been a spiritual evaluation over your life. Not judgment, evaluation. The delays, the tests, the silence, the moments when you felt abandoned were all part of a strengthening process. You were being trained in hidden places. While others were announcing their progress publicly, you were growing privately. And that private growth is about to produce public evidence. You may have noticed how certain connections began to feel unstable recently. Conversations felt forced. Energy felt off. You questioned yourself. You wondered if you were overthinking. But no. Your spirit was sensing the shift before your mind could explain it. April 6th is not random. It is a dividing line. What could not move forward with you is quietly being removed. What could not celebrate your elevation is losing access to your presence. Archangel Michael is not just protecting you from visible harm. He is filtering your environment. Some people will drift away without conflict. Some opportunities will dissolve without explanation. Do not chase them. Do not panic. When heaven subtracts, it is making room. And here is something you must understand clearly. The shock that is coming is not destruction. It is confirmation. A confirmation that you were right to trust your instincts. A confirmation that the delays were strategic. A confirmation that your prayers were heard even when you felt unheard. In the next 7 minutes of your reflection, yes, even after this message ends, pay attention to what rises in your heart. A name may come to mind. A memory may resurface. A truth you tried to ignore may suddenly feel undeniable. It is clarity arriving. But clarity requires maturity. When the revelation surfaces in your physical reality within the coming days, you must remain composed. Do not confront impulsively. Do not expose prematurely. Archangel Michael fights battles with precision, not emotion. Let him handle what is beyond you. Your role is alignment, not retaliation. This is also the moment where your faith must grow teeth, not soft belief, not passive hope, but firm conviction. Because once the exposure happens, the enemy will attempt distraction, sudden drama, unexpected chaos, emolument of Galilean, all designed to pull you out of position. Stay steady. You have crossed into a week of divine rearrangement. Things will move quickly. Information will travel fast. Truth will surface without you forcing it. And when it does, you will realize why you had to be silent for so long. Now listen carefully to this next layer. There is a door opening that you did not knock on. An opportunity that carries your name without you campaigning for it. This is the reward of integrity. While others schemed, you stayed authentic. While others positioned themselves strategically, you remained patient. And heaven recorded everything. This is why Archangel Michael said this message is only for you. Because the elevation attached to it cannot be shared. It is tailored, custom designed, specifically measured. But I must say something directly to you. If this message is stirring something deep inside your spirit, do not keep it silent in fear. Engage with it. Declare your agreement. Let your faith speak. When you interact with this message, when you like it, when you comment your confirmation, when you share it with intention, you are not promoting a video. You are amplifying alignment. You are testifying that you recognize divine timing. Subscribe if you have not yet. Become part of this prophetic family. Join the membership if your spirit feels called to go deeper. Because what is being built here is not entertainment. It is preparation. And when you participate, you strengthen the flow of these messages reaching those who are in critical spiritual moments. Something powerful is building. And before this atmosphere shifts again, I need you focused. The next revelation will connect directly to your home environment. Not in fear, but in transformation. There has been tension in your space. Unspoken weight. Emotional residue. Archangel Michael is about to cleanse what you could not see but felt daily. Hold your attention here. What unfolds next will connect every piece together in a way you did not expect. Chosen soul, now we enter the layer that touches your home, your private space, the atmosphere you return to when the world goes quiet. Archangel Michael is not only addressing people around you or opportunities ahead of you. He is addressing the spiritual climate within your walls. Because what is about to shock your soul is not simply about exposure outside. It is about cleansing inside. There has been an invisible tension resting in your environment. Not constant chaos, not dramatic disturbance, but a subtle heaviness. A feeling that something is slightly off. You may have blamed stress. You may have blamed your schedule. But spiritually, there has been residue lingering in your space. Every place carries energy. Every conversation leaves an imprint. Every argument, every silent resentment, every hidden intention creates a trace. And Archangel Michael is saying that today marks the beginning of purification. This is why the message was marked only for you. Because you are the spiritual gatekeeper of your environment. Whether you realized it or not, your presence carries authority. And when your discernment began increasing, the atmosphere around you began reacting. Here is the revelation that may shock you. The discomfort you felt at home was not always yours. There have been emotional projections placed into your space by someone carrying internal conflict. They did not necessarily intend harm. But unresolved issues have a way of spreading silently. And because you are sensitive in spirit, you absorbed what was never assigned to you. That ends now. Archangel Michael is standing at the threshold of your dwelling, sword lifted not to threaten but to declare boundaries. What does not belong in your space must leave. What carried confusion must dissolve. What attempted to create division must be exposed to light. You may begin noticing subtle changes. Improved sleep. Clearer thoughts. A lighter mood when you wake up. Even conversations that once felt tense may shift unexpectedly. Do not dismiss it as coincidence. Spiritual cleansing often feels gentle before it becomes obvious. But here is the deeper layer. There is also something hidden within your home that symbolizes delay. An object, a memory, a connection that ties you emotionally to a past season that has already expired. Archangel Michael is inviting you to release it. Not out of anger, not out of bitterness, but out of alignment. Because the next elevation cannot coexist with old attachments. You have been carrying more than you realized. Emotional weight disguised as loyalty. Silence disguised as peacekeeping. Tolerance disguised as patience. And while your intentions were pure, heaven is now calling for clarity. In the coming days, there will be a conversation. It may feel small at first, casual, ordinary, but it will reveal something significant. Words will slip. Truth will surface naturally. And when it does, you will feel a sudden calm instead of shock. That calm will confirm that Archangel Michael prepared you in advance. This is protection through revelation. And as this unfolds, your confidence will increase. You will stop second-guessing your instincts. You will stop apologizing for boundaries. You will stop shrinking to maintain comfort for others. A new firmness will rise in you. Quiet, stable, unshakable. April 6th is not simply about warning. It is about activation. Your spiritual authority is expanding. Your home will reflect it. Your decisions will reflect it. Your energy will reflect it. Now receive this prophetic action. Type "My home is covered" in the comments if this message is aligning with your spirit. Lesson code 444 is being released over your dwelling right now. As you declare it, imagine light filling every corner of your space. Imagine peace settling into every room. Imagine clarity dissolving confusion. And now, hear this clearly. What is happening here is bigger than one message. It is part of a mission to awaken, to cleanse, to strengthen souls across the world. When you sow into this mission through super thanks, through membership, or through PayPal listed in the description, you are not funding content. You are igniting lamps in dark places. You are helping truth reach someone who is one prayer away from breakthrough. The word declares, "Give, and it will be given to you, pressed down and overflowing." This is not ancient history. This is a living promise speaking directly to you now. When you respond, you are not losing, you are planting. And every seed planted in obedience produces a harvest of protection, clarity, and acceleration. If your spirit has whispered, "I want to be part of this," that is your moment of alignment. Do not hesitate. Move as led. Release your seed as a prophetic act. Let your giving become oil that keeps this fire burning. Step into it boldly. Something even more personal is about to unfold next, and it will connect directly to a decision you have been postponing. Faithful one, what comes now touches the decision you have been postponing, the choice you keep revisiting in your mind but never fully acting upon. Archangel Michael is not silent about this. In fact, this is one of the central reasons this message found you today. Because delay in this area had been creating internal tension, and heaven is ready to bring resolution. You already know what this decision is about. The moment I said it, something surfaced within you. It could be related to a relationship, or a location, a career move, or a boundary you have been afraid to enforce. You have been waiting for a perfect sign, a flawless confirmation, something undeniable. But what if this message is that confirmation? For months, you have been standing at a crossroads. One path feels familiar but heavy. The other feels uncertain but lighter. and you have been torn between comfort and calling. Archangel Michael is saying that comfort is no longer your assignment. You are not preserved through past battles to settle into smallness. The hesitation you feel is not because the new direction is wrong. It is because growth always stretches identity. You are stepping into a version of yourself that requires courage, and courage feels unfamiliar at first. But understand this clearly. The fear you are sensing is not a warning to stop. It is a signal that expansion is near. There is something powerful about this specific timing. April 6th has acted as a spiritual marker, a dividing line between who you were tolerating and who you are becoming. The indecision that once felt reasonable will begin to feel uncomfortable. Staying still will start to feel heavier than moving forward. And here is the deeper truth. Part of the reason you delayed this decision was because you were concerned about how others would react. You did not want to disappoint. You did not want to create distance. You did not want to appear selfish. But Archangel Michael is reminding you that obedience to your calling is not selfishness. It is alignment. You cannot carry everyone into your next season. Some people are assignments. Some are companions. Some are lessons. But not everyone is meant to cross the threshold with you. When you finally accept this, peace will replace guilt. In the coming days, you may feel a sudden clarity, a moment where the confusion lifts and the right choice feels obvious. Do not overanalyze it. That clarity will be divine assistance. Act on it while it is fresh. Prolonged hesitation will only reopen cycles that were meant to close. There is also a financial element connected to this decision for some of you. A risk that seems intimidating. An investment of time, energy, or resources that feels bold. But remember, Archangel Michael does not guide you into recklessness. He guides you into advancement. If the direction brings peace beneath the nerves, it carries heaven's fingerprint. Your environment has already begun shifting to accommodate this move. Conversations are aligning. Opportunities are positioning themselves quietly. Even resistance you encountered earlier was part of strengthening your resolve. And let me speak to the hidden doubt you have not voiced. You are more prepared than you think. The skills you developed in struggle were not accidental. The wisdom you gained through betrayal was not wasted. The resilience formed in isolation was not meaningless. Every chapter equipped you for this step. But the final push must come from you. Archangel Michael can guard. He can expose. He can clear paths. But he will not override your free will. The door is open, but you must walk through it. When you do, expect acceleration. Expect confirmation. Expect a swift closing of old loops. The shock that was mentioned earlier will now make sense. Because once you move, the hidden resistance around you will surface clearly. And instead of frightening you, it will validate your choice. There is strength rising in you right now as you hear these words. A quiet resolve forming. That is not emotion. That is activation. Do not underestimate this moment. The next layer of this message will reveal how your past disappointment was actually divine redirection. And when you see it, you will realize nothing was wasted. Steadfast heart, now you are ready to see what once looked like disappointment through a different lens. What you called loss was not loss. What you labeled rejection was not rejection. It was redirection so precise that only heaven could have orchestrated it. There was a door you desperately wanted to walk through. You prayed over it. You imagined your future behind it. You even adjusted your plans in expectation. And when it did not open, something inside you cracked. You questioned your worth. You questioned your discernment. You'd even questioned whether you had misunderstood the signs. But Archangel Michael was guarding a path you could not see. That door, if opened at that time, would have entangled you in delays far heavier than the waiting you experienced. What felt like a setback was actually protection disguised as silence. And now, standing where you are today, you are beginning to realize that the path you are on carries a different kind of stability. Think about who you were during that disappointment. You were less confident, more eager to prove yourself, more willing to accept half commitment from others. If that opportunity had succeeded then, you might have built something on unstable ground. Heaven waited until your foundation strengthened. This is why April 6th is a marker, because the clarity arriving now allows you to see the pattern. The closed doors were consistent. The redirections were repetitive. The pauses were strategic. None of it was random. There was a specific relationship that ended or shifted unexpectedly. You did not receive full explanation. The silence felt louder than any argument. But what you did not see was the misalignment growing quietly beneath the surface. Archangel Michael intervened before deeper damage could occur. It is difficult to thank heaven for what hurt you, but soon gratitude will replace confusion. And here is something even deeper. The disappointment trained your discernment. It sharpened your instincts. It taught you to observe energy instead of only words. That lesson alone is worth more than the opportunity you thought you lost. You have also underestimated how much strength you built during that season. You learned to rely on prayer instead of approval. You learned to find peace without constant reassurance. You learned to survive emotionally without external validation. Those lessons are rare, and they are powerful. The shock that is coming will connect directly to that past disappointment. You may discover information that confirms you were shielded from something unstable. You may hear a truth that reveals how fragile that situation truly was. And instead of anger, you will feel relief. Relief that you were redirected. Archangel Michael does not simply remove obstacles. He reroutes destiny. What you thought was the end was actually a curve in the road leading to something more aligned with your calling. But do not misinterpret this as passive waiting. Redirection requires movement. The moment you choose courage in the present decision we spoke about earlier, you activate the benefit of every past lesson. It all begins working together. There is also healing happening beneath your awareness. Emotional wounds you thought were permanent are quietly closing. Triggers that once caused overreaction are losing intensity. You are not as fragile as you once were. You are steadier. And steady people build lasting things. The next development in your life will not be rushed excitement. It will be ground in progress. You will feel less need to announce, less need to prove, less need to defend. That calm confidence will confuse those who expected you to remain shaken. Let them be confused. Your growth was never for display. It was for preparation. As this week unfolds, observe how certain memories resurface briefly. Not to hurt you again, but to show you how far you have come. What once felt unbearable will now feel distant. A distance is evidence of healing. Archangel Michael stands not only as protector but as witness to your transformation. Every tear, every silent prayer, every night you lay awake wondering if things would ever shift was recorded. Nothing was wasted. The next revelation will uncover how someone who underestimated you is about to recognize your growth in a way they cannot ignore. And when that moment comes, your response will determine the speed of your elevation. Courageous spirit, now we approach the moment where recognition shifts. The one who underestimated you, who quietly assumed you would remain in the same position, is about to witness a version of you they did not anticipate. This is not about revenge. It is about revelation. There was a time when their opinion mattered deeply to you. Your approval felt significant. Your silence felt heavy. You adjusted yourself to maintain peace. You softened your voice. You delayed your decisions, all to avoid disruption. But while you were shrinking, heaven was expanding you internally. Archangel Michael hath been watching this dynamic closely. The underestimation was allowed for a reason. It revealed who truly saw you and who only saw the version of you that benefited them. Exposed hidden expectations. It uncovered subtle control. And most importantly, it showed you how much you were capable of enduring without breaking. Now the balance shifts. In the coming days you will speak differently. Not louder, not higher, just clearer. And that clarity will create a quiet shock in those who assumed you would remain agreeable. Your boundaries will feel firm. Your tone will carry confidence. Your decisions will reflect independence. The person who once dismissed your potential will sense the difference immediately. Do not gloat. Do not over-explain. Simply stand. There is also a professional or financial element connected to this recognition for some of you. A project, an opportunity, or a responsibility you were overlooked for in the past may circle back in a surprising way. This time, you will not approach it from insecurity. You will approach it from stability. Archangel Michael is orchestrating visibility. The growth you developed in private is about to become observable. And when others begin to notice, it will feel surreal. Not because you did not deserve it, but because you once doubted it. This is why the earlier disappointments were necessary. They removed your dependence on external validation. And now, when recognition comes, it will not control you. Be attentive to conversations this week. Pay attention to subtle shifts in tone. Someone who once spoke with authority over you may begin speaking with respect. Someone who once overlooked your ideas may now seek your input. This is not coincidence. It is alignment catching up. But here is the caution. Do not reopen doors simply because validation arrives. Some acknowledgments are meant to confirm your growth, not restore old dynamics. Discern carefully. Archangel Michael sharpens discernment in seasons of elevation. You are not returning to old patterns. You are stepping into upgraded positioning. And let me speak directly to your heart for a moment. If these words are resonating deeply, if you feel the shift building inside you, do not stay silent. Engage with this message. Like it. Comment your agreement. Share it with someone who needs courage. Subscribe if you have not already, and become part of this growing spiritual movement. Join the membership if you feel called to go deeper. When you interact, you are not just supporting a channel. You are strengthening a prophetic flow that reaches those standing at their own crossroads. There is momentum building here, and your participation amplifies it. What unfolds next ties directly into timing, because recognition without timing can create chaos. But recognition within divine timing creates acceleration, and the acceleration coming toward you will feel sudden. A call you did not expect, an invitation you did not chase. A conversation then changes direction quickly. When it happens, you may feel your heart race. That is normal. Growth always carries energy. Just remember this. You are prepared. The underestimation was training. The silence was strengthening. The delay was refining. And now, as visibility increases, your composure will be your power. Stay attentive, because the next revelation will uncover why the next 7 days carry unusual spiritual intensity around your name. Watchful soul, the next 7 days are not ordinary. There is a spiritual intensity surrounding your name right now. It is subtle, but it is active. Conversations are forming around you. Thoughts are circulating about you. Decisions are being considered that involve you. And Archangel Michael is standing guard over all of it. You may feel this intensity as restlessness, a sense that something is building. Sleep may feel lighter. Your intuition may feel sharper. Small details may stand out more clearly than usual. This is not anxiety. It is awareness increasing. When heaven begins to rearrange circumstances, the atmosphere shifts before the event manifests. During these 7 days, pay close attention to repetition. Repeated numbers. Repeated phrases. Repeated themes in conversations. These are not superstitions. They are alignment markers. They confirm that events are synchronizing. There is someone who has been observing you quietly, not in hostility but in reconsideration. They once misjudged your consistency. They once underestimated your resilience. But recently, something you did or said disrupted their assumption. Now they are reassessing. This reassessment will lead to movement. It may not look dramatic at first. It may come as a simple message, a small opportunity, or a shift in attitude. But beneath it lies recognition of your evolution. The shock mentioned earlier will not necessarily be explosive. It will be revealing. You will realize that while you thought you were invisible, you were being studied. Archangel Michael has ensured that what was meant to discredit you instead refined you. What was meant to exhaust you instead strengthened you. And now, the narrative around your name begins to change. But here is the crucial instruction. Do not announce your next move prematurely. There is power in quiet preparation. As momentum builds, resist the urge to explain everything. Let your actions speak. Let results emerge naturally. Not everyone needs access to your process. During these 7 days, also guard your emotions carefully. Intensity can amplify sensitivity. If a misunderstanding occurs, do not react instantly. Pause. Breathe. Seek clarity before responding. Archangel Michael operates with precision, not impulse. There may also be a surprising piece of information that surfaces indirectly. Something you overhear. Something someone mentions casually. It will connect dots from the past. And when it does, you will feel that internal confirmation again. Trust that feeling. You are entering a phase where discernment becomes your compass. Not fear. Not suspicion. Discernment. There is a difference. Fear imagines threats everywhere. Discernment calmly identifies truth. Your spirit has matured enough to handle this level of awareness. Another layer to these 7 days involves opportunity. Something that was previously unavailable may suddenly become accessible. Timing will feel aligned. Obstacles that once blocked progress will seem smaller. This is acceleration. But acceleration requires readiness. Prepare yourself mentally. Organize your thoughts. Clarify your goals. Do not drift passively through this week. Be intentional. You may also feel prompted to clean or rearrange part of your space. Follow that instinct. Physical movement can support spiritual clarity. When you create order externally, you reinforce focus internally. Archangel Michael is not only protecting you from visible opposition. He is stabilizing your internal state so you can carry increased responsibility without becoming overwhelmed. Because make no mistake, responsibility is increasing. The recognition coming your way carries expectation. Others will begin to rely on your insight, your stability, your presence, and you must be grounded enough to handle it without losing yourself. The intensity of these 7 days is not meant to intimidate you. It is meant to alert you. Something significant is aligning. And in the next unfolding layer, you will see how a hidden truth connected to your past is about to surface publicly in a way that validates everything you endured. Awaken one. What is about to surface will not come from your mouth, yet it will defend your name. A hidden truth connected to your past is preparing to rise into visibility. You will not have to chase it. You will not have to force it. It will unfold naturally, almost effortlessly, and when it does, it will validate everything you endured in silence. There was a narrative formed about you in a previous season. Not entirely false, but incomplete. Pieces of truth were presented without context. Your reactions were judged without understanding the pressure you were under. And because you chose silence over argument, some people assumed the version they heard was accurate. Archangel Michael did not interrupt that misunderstanding immediately. He allowed time to reveal character. He allowed consistency to build evidence. He allowed your quiet integrity to contrast the noise. Now the contrast is undeniable. Someone connected to that past situation has begun to see the full picture. Perhaps they witnessed behavior they once ignored. Perhaps they experienced what you experienced. Or perhaps their own growth has opened their perception. Regardless of how it happens, clarity is arriving. And when this truth becomes visible, it will not feel like triumph. It will feel like relief. Relief that you no longer have to defend yourself internally. Relief that your silence was not weakness. Relief that heaven was documenting what others overlooked. This revelation may come through conversation. It may come through an apology. It may come through indirect acknowledgement. However it arrives, it will settle something inside you that has remained slightly unsettled. But listen carefully. Do not allow validation to reopen emotional attachment. Closure does not mean reconnection. Exposure does not mean restoration. Some truths surface only to close chapters permanently. Archangel Michael is ensuring that justice and alignment happen without dragging you backward. There is also a deeper spiritual meaning behind this exposure. It is not just about reputation. It is about authority. When false narratives lose power, your confidence strengthens. And strength and confidence allows you to step into higher assignments. You were never meant to carry the weight of misunderstanding forever. In these coming days, you may feel a wave of unexpected peace. A calm that replaces years of quiet frustration. That peace is confirmation. It means the cycle has closed. And now, as this truth surfaces, you must anchor yourself in gratitude instead of pride. Gratitude that you did not retaliate. Gratitude that you did not sabotage your own growth through bitterness. Gratitude that you remained aligned even when misunderstood. Because your response during that past season is the reason you are elevated now. Archangel Michael stands as witness to your restraint. And restraint has become strength. There is also a symbolic release happening. Emotional cords tied to that chapter are dissolving. You may even dream about past scenarios one last time, as if your mind is filing them away. Do not be disturbed. It is final processing. The shock you were warned about is not chaos. It is confirmation. And as confirmation settles, your energy will shift. You will walk differently. Speak differently. Think differently. Not arrogantly, but securely. This is restoration of identity. Now receive this activation. Type truth stands for me in the comments if you feel this chapter closing. Blessing code 818 is being released over your reputation and your future. As you declare it, imagine every false word losing weight and every honest seed you planted beginning to bloom. And as this truth rises, Understand that this message itself is part of a greater light spreading into hidden corners. When you release a super thanks, when you step into membership, or when you sow through PayPal in the description, you are not simply supporting a platform. You are fueling a river of truth that washes over misunderstood souls worldwide. The word speaks, those who sow in tears shall reap in joy, and that promise is breathing over you right now. When you act, you are aligning with that living promise. This is your moment to become a carrier of light, to turn your breakthrough into someone else's confirmation. Do not delay obedience. Release your seed as an act of faith. Let your generosity become oil that keeps revelation flowing. Step forward boldly and participate in what heaven is building, because what unfolds next will connect directly to a new door opening faster than you expected. Radiant soul, now we arrive at the threshold of the new door, and this door will not creak open slowly. It will move with surprising speed. After the exposure, after the validation, after the quiet internal closure, something external will shift almost immediately. It may feel sudden, but it has been prepared for longer than you realize. This new opening is connected to alignment, not ambition. It is not something you forced into existence. It is something that has been aligning behind the scenes while you were healing. Archangel Michael has been clearing resistance you never saw, redirecting conversations you never heard, and influencing outcomes you never knew were being discussed. You may first notice this door through an invitation, a proposal, a collaboration, a chance to step into responsibility that feels slightly bigger than your comfort zone. When it arrives, your first reaction may be surprise. Your second reaction may be doubt. But beneath both there will be peace. That peace is your signal. In the past, you chased opportunities with anxiety. You wondered if you were enough. You rehearsed conversations repeatedly. You prepared for rejection before it even happened. But this time will feel different. You will feel grounded. This is growth. The speed of this door opening may catch others off guard. Those who underestimated you may struggle to understand how quickly circumstances change. Let them wonder. Your timeline was never dependent on their perception. Archangel Michael moves with precision timing. When the moment arrives, resistance weakens naturally. There is also an element of restoration attached to this new opening. Something you thought you lost permanently may return in a higher form. Not exactly as before, but refined, improved, more stable. Heaven does not always restore what was taken, but when it does, it returns it stronger. Be cautious, however, not to compare this new opportunity to old disappointments. Comparison can dilute gratitude. Receive this door as its own blessing, not as compensation for past loss. During this transition, protect your focus. When new energy enters your life, distractions often attempt to follow. Old connections may suddenly reappear. Unfinished conversations may resurface. Not all of them are meant to be reopened. Discernment will be critical. You will know what aligns by how it feels internally. Aligned opportunities bring calm confidence. Misaligned ones bring urgency and pressure. Archangel Michael's guidance is steady, not frantic. Financial increase may also be connected to this door. For some, it will come through increased responsibility. For others, through unexpected support or provision. Whatever form it takes, it will feel deserved rather than forced. You have been tested in small responsibilities. You have been faithful in overlooked tasks. Now larger trust is being extended. But here is the deeper layer. This door is not only about success. It is about influence. Your voice will carry further. Your presence will impact more people, and with influence comes accountability. Stay humble. Stay grounded. Remember the seasons that shaped you, because elevation without humility becomes instability. Archangel Michael is not only opening doors, he is stabilizing your character to sustain them. As this unfolds, you may experience moments of disbelief. You may look back at the version of yourself who felt stuck and almost smile. Do not disconnect from that memory. It will keep you compassionate toward others still in their waiting season. The shock that was promised at the beginning of this message is now fully visible. Not destruction, not chaos, but rapid alignment, exposure of truth, opening of doors, acceleration of destiny. And yet, one final layer remains, because stepping through this door will require a declaration from you, a decision not just to accept opportunity, but to embrace identity. The next revelation will confront the last hidden fear that has quietly followed you for years. Brave heart, now we stand before the last hidden fear that has followed you quietly for years. It has not shouted. It has not paralyzed you completely, but it has whispered at critical moments. It has asked, what if you are not truly ready? It has suggested, what if this disappears as quickly as it arrived? It has reminded you of past losses just when new doors opened. This fear is subtle, but it is persistent. Archangel Michael is addressing it directly now because you cannot carry it into the next level. The door before you is real. The recognition is real. The exposure of truth is real. But if insecurity remains unchecked, you may sabotage what heaven has carefully aligned. You have outgrown the identity of survival. For a long time, your focus was simply to endure, to make it through disappointment, to hold yourself together when clarity was missing, to survive misunderstandings and delays. That survival mode built resilience, but it also built caution. Now you are stepping into expansion mode. Expansion requires a different posture. It requires confidence that does not constantly scan for disaster. It requires faith that does not expect sudden collapse. The fear you feel is not prophecy. It is memory. Memory of instability. Memory of promises that fell through. Memory of trusting too quickly in the past. But this season is not a repetition of that one. You are not the same person you were then. Your discernment is sharper. Your boundaries are firmer. Your confidence is steadier. Archangel Michael is not leading you into a fragile opportunity. He is leading you into a prepared position. However, there is one decision you must make internally. You must stop rehearsing worst-case scenarios. You must stop preparing emotionally for loss before it happens. You must allow yourself to believe in sustained progress. This is the final separation from your old identity. When this door fully opens and when momentum increases, you may notice that some people test your confidence. They may question your readiness indirectly. They may remind you of who you used to be. Do not engage in defensive explanations. Simply embody who you are now. Confidence does not argue. It demonstrates. There is also something important about timing here. The acceleration you are experiencing is not chaotic. It is controlled. Even if events move quickly, they are not unstable. Archangel Michael moves with authority, not confusion. You may feel moments of emotional intensity as you release this final fear. That is natural. You are shedding an old layer. Let it fall. Do not cling to it for familiarity. And let me speak directly to you in this moment. If this message has been unfolding exactly where you are standing, if it feels like it has been describing your inner world with precision, do not stay passive. Engage with it. Like this message. Comment your declaration of readiness. Share it with someone who needs courage at their own threshold. Subscribe if you have not already, and join this growing spiritual family. Step into membership if your spirit feels called deeper. When you participate, you are not just supporting content. You are aligning yourself publicly with growth. You are declaring that you are no longer hiding from your next level. There is power in agreement. And before you move forward from this moment, take a breath and recognize how far you have come. The version of you who first faced disappointment would not recognize the steadiness you carry now. That steadiness is evidence of transformation. The fear that once followed you like a shadow is losing shape. It cannot survive in the light of clarity. It cannot dominate in the presence of preparation. The next unfolding will seal this transition completely. It will not only confirm your readiness, it will activate a blessing that feels generational in impact. Anointed vessel, what is about to activate will not stop with you. The blessing forming around your life carries generational impact. It will touch decisions beyond your immediate comfort. It will influence people who may never know the battles you fought privately. This is why the fear had to break. You cannot carry insecurity into something that is meant to outlive you. Archangel Michael has not only been guarding your present, he has been positioning your future influence. There is a shift happening in how you see yourself. It is subtle but undeniable. You are beginning to recognize that your experiences were training, not punishment. Your delays were development, not denial. Your exposure to difficult environments was preparation for leadership, not abandonment. Leadership does not always look like a title. Sometimes it looks like stability and chaos. Sometimes it looks like clarity and confusion. Sometimes it looks like refusing to participate in negativity even when invited. And you have been practicing this form of leadership without realizing it. Now the impact expands. The new door that opened will connect you to people who need your steadiness. They may not say it immediately. They may not even fully understand it themselves. But your presence will create calm. Your perspective will create direction. Your resilience will create courage in others. This is generational because patterns are being interrupted through you. Perhaps in your family there were cycles of doubt, inconsistency, or fear-driven decisions. Perhaps in your environment there was a pattern of settling instead of striving. Through your growth, those patterns weaken. When you choose confidence, you model it. When you choose integrity, you normalize it. When you choose faith over fear, you shift atmosphere. Archangel Michael is empowering you to become a stabilizing force. But with greater impact comes greater responsibility. Guard your character carefully. Do not allow pride to enter through success. Do not allow exhaustion to turn into impatience. Maintain the disciplines that strengthen you in hidden seasons. There will also be moments where you feel stretched again. Not in crisis, but in capacity. More will be asked of you. More attention will be directed toward you. You may even feel the weight of expectation. Remember that expectation is not pressure when you are aligned. It is confirmation that you are trusted. Trust has been built slowly around your name. The same people who once questioned your readiness may now reference your example. The same voices that once overlooked you may now recommend you. This is not coincidence. It is harvest. And yet, remain grounded in gratitude. Gratitude keeps elevation stable. Gratitude keeps influence pure. Gratitude keeps your heart soft. In these coming days, you may feel prompted to mentor, guide, or encourage someone unexpectedly. Follow that prompting. It is part of the generational activation. What you say casually may anchor someone else permanently. You are no longer moving only for yourself. The shock that was promised at the beginning of this message has unfolded layer by layer. Exposure, validation, opportunity, identity shift, and now impact. But one final seal remains. Because blessing without acknowledgement can become entitlement, and acknowledgement transforms blessing into covenant. The final unfolding will call you into a declaration that aligns your future fully with divine protection and authority. Prepare your heart. The conclusion will not simply summarize. It will commission. Chosen one, this is the moment of commissioning. Everything that unfolded from the beginning of this message was not random inspiration. It was a divine sequence. Exposure was necessary to clear confusion. Validation was necessary to restore confidence. The open door was necessary to reposition you. The breaking of fear was necessary to stabilize you. And now, commissioning is necessary to authorize you. Archangel Michael does not guard those who refuse to move. He guards those who step forward in alignment. And you have stepped forward. Even listening until this very moment is a sign that your spirit recognized something sacred in this word. Now hear this clearly. What is forming around your life is not temporary momentum. It is established favor, not fragile luck, not emotional hype. Established favor, the kind that remains even when circumstances fluctuate, the kind that protects you from traps you never see, the kind that positions you in rooms where your name was once absent. But commissioning requires agreement. You must decide that you will no longer shrink to make others comfortable. You must decide that you will no longer rehearse fear when opportunity appears. You must decide that you will carry integrity even when influence increases. This is covenant language. April 6th was marked because something spiritual shifted in your awareness. You will not see yourself the same way again. You will not tolerate the same treatment again. You will not accept the same limitations again. And Archangel Michael stands as witness. There may still be challenges ahead. Ovation does not remove opposition entirely. But opposition will no longer intimidate you. Because you now understand that delay can be protection, that exposure can be deliverance, and that sudden doors can be divine timing. You are not fragile. You are formed. As you step into what has been prepared, expect confirmation to continue. Expect peace to accompany bold decisions. Expect unusual favor in conversations that once felt intimidating. Expect your name to travel further than your effort alone could carry it. This is activation. Now seal it with declaration. Type "I walk in divine authority" in the comments if you receive this commissioning. Blessing code 1212 is now activated over your path. As you declare it, imagine a mantle settling over your shoulders. Imagine confidence anchoring your steps. Imagine protection surrounding your name. And now, before this word closes, hear this final call. What hath been spoken over you today is not just for personal elevation. It is part of a greater awakening. When you release a super thanks, when you step into membership, or when you sow through the PayPal link in the description, you are not supporting a channel. You are sowing into souls standing on their own April 6th moment. The Lord says, "Cast your bread upon the waters, and it will return to you." That is not poetry. That is a living promise speaking directly to you now. When you give, you become a co-laborer in protection, in exposure of truth, in restoration of identity. This is your first-person moment. I will not let this fire stop with me. Move now in obedience. Release your seed as a prophetic act. Let your generosity become oil that keeps this light burning across nations. Step into covenant action and partner with this mission today. The commissioning is complete. walked forward covered, confident, and called,